Today I got a free day. I don't really have anything to do and I'm trying to kill some time. So I'm going to make a video on my HeMan Origins figures. This isn't all of them. I have a bunch in a bunch of different rooms. These are just some of the vehicles that I have on display in my living room. I made another video like this like a year ago, and the collection was like half of what I have now. They come out with a lot of these figures in waves, so they come out with like 4 figures like quarterly. So you get about, let's see, about I think 16 figures a year. And when I say figures, I mean like this. Every like 2 months or something, you'll get like 4 new figures, and then they'll come out with a deluxe. And Mattel has like a strategic plan on how they've been releasing these. There's a pattern, so they'll come out with figures, then they'll come out with 1 or 2 deluxes, and then they'll come out with a vehicle or animal or whatever you want to call it, and then they'll come out with an exclusive on their website. So I'm going to show you a little bit of all of that stuff and what we got going on here. There's a few variations too. I mentioned in the other video, I got into a lot more detail. I'll get into it like a little bit, but this video I'm just going to kind of show the overall collection of what I have. I have about 75% of the collection, at least. Some of the things I don't have is the more rare stuff, like the Cobra Con and the sets that are like $150 and stuff. I just don't have those yet. They're just too much. So anyways, getting into it. The reason why I have these 4 figures here is because these are like 4 of my newest that I've got lately. But another new figure we got here is Mecha Neck and Ground Ripper. And I was just talking to somebody about this today. I think the reason why they packaged Mecha Neck with Ground Ripper is just so the vehicles could sell, because if you look at the stores, like my local Walmart, they have like over 20 of these Striders. These aren't selling very good. The vehicles overall are pretty damn expensive. They're around $30. So, if you look at it from a kid's point of view, and he can only buy one thing in the toy aisle, he's not going to buy a fucking horse. You know what I mean? Most people buying this line are parents, or their parents that are buying it for themselves and their kids. So yeah, anyways, this is the Mecha Neck and Ground Ripper, which currently this is the newest vehicle out right now. And then we have Strider here. So Strider's still pretty easy to get. Currently right now, he's at Myers for only like $10 on clearance. So Manny Faces here, this is the second version of him. And what I mean by second version is they re-released one of the waves, the wave with Trapjaw, Scareglow, Orko, and Manny Faces. Originally, that wave was either released in 2020 or 2022. And I think originally it was a Target exclusive, and I think the re-release is a Target exclusive as well. And the re-release has the 40 sticker on it. The old one will say new for either 20 or 21, I don't remember offhand. The only thing different really about the 40th sticker one is his skin color is a little bit different. On one it's a little bit darker, and on the other it's a little bit lighter. But these are hard to come by. This is the only one I've ever seen in Target, ever. I couldn't find the other figures. They're all on eBay. So he's a hard one to come by. When I saw him, I was pretty damn shocked, and plus he was in mint condition. So yeah, Beastman, Lord of Power. This is the original model sculpt of Beastman, and of course there's the other Beastman as well. I think he was in Wave 1. So the LLP Lop Lords of Power, that's kind of like the original sculpt they had for Beastman, which they never went with in the original line. So they ended up producing them this time, which is pretty cool. And they did that with Merman, and that might be it. I'm not sure if they did it with anybody else offhand. We'll see when we look at the other figures. My memory is shit this morning. It's pretty early right now. Prince Adam and Sky Sled. This, it's weird because this one was hard for me to come by. I got into collecting the Origins line a little bit late, so I never saw this in the stores. And then recently, Ollie's, the discount store, actually got some of these in, and I was super surprised because otherwise they're kind of hard to come by. They seem like they sold pretty good, and then Ollie's has a low quantity of them, so I was really happy to get one of these in mint condition and not have to try to dig for one on eBay at a ridiculous price. So if you notice in the corner of this, and like I said in my other video, I talked more in detail about this, but you can see this has like an international language on it compared to these figures that say retro play. So this is what they call an international. So they make 3 different versions of these figures. The ones that say retro play, those are the American version. The ones that are like this, that's the international Europe version. And then there's one for South America, which has different language on it. It has I believe it's like Brazil. They have the different language. I wish I had one to show. It'd just be easier, but yeah, the South American ones look really different. The lettering is like double stacked. The name is pronounced different, and they're pretty cool. The reason why I have this in plastic is because it's a collector grade. So a good place to order these is Big Bad Toy Store, and for just like $3 more, you can get a collector grade. Of course, there's a battle between openers, people who open their toys, and people who keep theirs sealed, who don't really give a shit, what you do with your toys. But openers, people who open their toys, are pretty hateful towards us people that like to keep them sealed. The reason why I like to keep mine sealed and in mint condition, it's just a personal preference. I love the artwork on these, and that's part of the reason why I get them, is because the display of the artwork and the packaging. I really love art, so I'm trying to preserve it, and I like mine in mint condition. And I know in the future that these figures may or may not be worth anything. I don't really care. They make me happy for the time being, and I like having them in perfect condition. So I'm trying to get the most mint condition possible. So when you get from Big Bad Toy Store and you order these collector's edition, not only does it come in this plastic, it's personally looked at before they send it out. Plus it comes in its own small box, which is then put into a bigger box, which is like, they make sure it comes to you in mint condition. So it's like, this is pretty flawless. But we're getting into the current period of the line right now is Snake Men, and everything is kind of revolving around this snake theme. which kind of doesn't make sense in some factors. Like they have some of the Sunman characters are involved in the Snakeman packaging, and they just don't look right, really. But yeah, that's a Snake Armor Skeletor there. Really cool figure. They have so many different HeMan and so many different Skeletors that came out. There's so many variations. This is King Hiss. It's kind of odd how they made his arms. If I show you the original King Hiss up here, let's see if I can find him. Where is he at? He's up here somewhere. King Hiss, where are you at, buddy? Okay, there he is. Let's see if I can zoom in here. I had moved these around the other day. But yeah, the original King Hiss, the snake parts and stuff are like a lot smaller in the way that you take his arm apart. You could take his arm apart almost like it's armor. And in these ones, it's a little bit different. I believe you have to pull his whole arm off and then attach him. But, you know, they had to make it that way so that, you know, this could attach to any other figures. Because the cool thing about Origins is they're all interchangeable. So if you're a person that does open the products, there's like an endless amount of variations you could do. That's what's so cool about the Origin line. And plus, they also, you can also mix them up with the WWE wrestling line as well. You could mismatch the parts and stuff, so that's pretty cool. People ask me where I get these deluxe clam shells from, protective cases. These I got from Melon Plastics, I think that is. It's Melyon Plastics. You could Google it. For a limited time, they had made these deluxe cases. So I had them on pre-order, and then I just bought, at the time I had bought, I think 25 of them or something. I just took a guess at how many deluxes they were going to make in the future and just bought a shitload of them because this plastic company said they were only going to make a limited amount, and once they were sold out, they weren't going to make any more. So I don't know if they have any more of these or not, or if they're going to make any more or not. So for anybody who's wondering, that's where I got those from. This is the Sunman Target exclusive three-man Sunman Pack, I guess you can call it. I got kind of lucky with this one. It ended up on sale online when I was looking, so I ordered it online, and then I went to the store, and customer service had one for me, and it was kind of bent up. And I said, I'm a collector, can I go in the aisle and pick one out myself and get the best condition one there is? And they said, sure, that's not a problem. So yeah, I picked this up for only half the price, which was pretty cool. These are currently still in stores at the time of this video. Getting a little bit harder to find them, but you could still get them. I don't remember what the retail price is. I think maybe around $40 or so. And I know I got it for about half that. Roton is currently out right now. And this one is actually selling really good. I think this is probably one of the vehicles that sold the best so far. And the glossy black of it is really, really nice and sharp. All around the packaging and everything of Roton is really extremely nice. Really cool release. A lot of people like it. I like these two as well. We have Landshark and Wind Raider. These sold fairly good too. At the end of the line, you could find these were in Target for clearance for around like $10, and I got lucky and got each one for $10 a piece. If you go to Ollie's, they actually have a lot of these Wind Raiders there, which I'm surprised because Wind Raider was kind of hard to find in the stores. But yeah, Ollie's has them for I think like only $10 or so. So if you have an Ollie's by you and you need a Wind Raider, you can go pick one up. And you know, of course, Landshark was one of the coolest original ones, and came out looking really nice. I like the way that it came out. What's cool about these is they made a lot of these the same dimension, so you could stack them. I wouldn't really stack them more than too high because of the weight. And actually, these ones I probably shouldn't stack. They're pretty heavy, and you kind of see a little dip in there. That might be from the weight. I'm not sure. But yeah, they kind of made the dimension of most of these. You could see the height is pretty much the same, so you could fit them on the shelf. I think there was only like one that was kind of awkward. But yeah, that's most of the vehicles right here. We'll just do like a quick little turn right here. Actually, let me turn the heat down in here. So we have a Castle of Grayskull here, and you know, I don't open any of my stuff, so I can't really show you what it looks like. But this one's a little bit banged up. Originally, I wasn't going to get Castle of Grayskull just because the price, it was like $80 or something, and I found it on clearance for $40. Someone told me there's a few Myers stores that still have them for $40, so it depends on your location. But it's cool because it comes with a sorceress. So side note we'll get into with sorceress and all the female characters earlier in the line is they have variations of the female characters, and the variation is their kneecaps. And I'll show you that when I go upstairs and show the other figures. But talking to other collectors, some of these have the sorceress with the old kneecaps, and some of them have sorceress with the new kneecaps. So there's a variation there. And nobody can seem to figure out how you could tell which one you have inside unless you open the actual box. So here we have the Mattel exclusives. Now these come up on their webpage every, 2 or 3 months, I think. And I don't have them all. I only have 5 of them. Because like I said, I got into the collecting game a little bit late. The first one I got here was Woundar, and I actually overpaid for them. These were really hard to get on the website at first, so I ended up going to eBay and getting him the day of because I couldn't get my order through, and I overpaid and paid like $60 for this, but I love the artwork on the box. And these all come sealed and taped. So the majority of these come sealed and taped, but I've talked to a few people who actually got a couple different figures that weren't taped, and I'm not sure why. Not that it makes too much of a difference. It's just kind of interesting. Maybe the factory ran out of tape or something. I don't know. But some people got Woundar without tape on it for some reason. But for the majority of other figures, they're all taped. This is a Frogmonger here. This is Grizzler here. And this is, what's his name? I have him over here. Space Sumo. It's basically the same figure as this Space Sumo, except it's in a package. So the one figure we do have open here is the Deluxe Cobra Con. And for some reason, this didn't come taped for the majority of people. Everyone I asked who got Cobra Con, it didn't come taped. So I'll open this one up and kind of show you what the deluxe Cobra Con looks like. And again, very cool artwork. Like I said, I'm really into the artwork, so I love how they package this. And some people ask me, like, why do you get the exclusives if you don't take them out of the box? And, you know, for me, the artwork on the box alone is, you know, good enough. So let me put this down for a second so I can pull this out of here. So the Cobra Con Camo Con came out like really cool. The colors on it are really amazing. How they kind of blended it in there. It has a little like plastic case to it, and you can actually pull it out of the case, and then it folds into like a tri-panel, like 3 panels. So that's really awesome. So I'm gonna hit pause on this and then go into the other room, and then I'll splice all these videos together. So now I'm in my other spare room, and this is where I have the other vehicles at. I only have a couple in here, a couple variations and such. We'll just go right to left. So this was another Target exclusive, and it's Battle Armor HeMan and Battle Cat. And I believe this Battle Armor HeMan is slightly different than the other than the deluxe Battle Armor HeMan. I think his boots are a different color, and I think the armor itself is slightly different, but I might be wrong on that. But yeah, this was another expensive one. It was a Target exclusive, and I think it was close to $50, and I waited till it was on sale. I think I got it for like $30. But it's really cool that they combined them both. They look really awesome. Keldor and Cronus, I believe this was also a Target exclusive, and for a long time these just were not selling. And then they finally clearanced them. I don't think they're in stores anymore. Probably a little bit harder to come by. Eternian Palace Guard. This I actually picked up at Big Lots. I've never seen it before in any other store except Big Lots. And I believe you might still be able to find some of these at Big Lots. They have, right now currently, they have, I think, Flying Fist HeMan Deluxe at Big Lots. So every once in a while, Big Lots will get in a figure that the other stores don't really have anymore. But yeah, those are cool. I mean, basically, Eternian Palace Guard looks like Man-at-Arms, pretty much. And then here we have the 2 different Panthers. One is Flocked, that's the collector's edition, and the other one is just the regular Panther. If you look up close here, I know there's a lot of glare, but they try to mimic the original and put the like realistic fur on it, called it collector's edition, and that one was only sold at Walmart. It's a Walmart exclusive. And then you have the other one here, which is just like the hard plastic generic version, which honestly, in my opinion, this one actually looks better. And then you have the Battle Cat here, and you know, it's kind of dark here, but I have the international version. I'll have to go to Ollie's because they have these on sale for like $5 right now, and get an American version. just to try to match them. I like to try to match them all up. At first I really like the internationals because they're kind of harder to come by, but the American just, they look a little bit better. Tila and Zor I got as a collector grade, and this is like the most mint condition I have of any vehicle. Like the corners on this are like super crisp. I've never seen a vehicle with not, it has like no imperfection at all on these corners. It's just like a amazing quality, and that was from Big Bad Toy Store. So you have Tila and then the bird Zor, and this is just like a really really nice packaging. It just came out like really cool. And then you have some, they show some of the ones that came out this year. Roton, like I showed, King Randar, Snout Spout, Whiplash, but we have those upstairs that we'll get into, and I'll show you. But yeah, these things get dusty. My house is pretty dusty, so I like to keep that one sealed in the plastic there. Okay, so moving upstairs, this is where we have the actual figures at, displayed here. And kind of what I want to do is I want to put this closet thing in my other room, and then I'll have the more space for the figures on the wall, and then probably put up a shelf going across here, and then I'll put all the vehicles there. This is my main bedroom, so it's kind of weird to have the toys in my main bedroom, because I also have in the other room, actually it's pretty messy in there. I got toys all over the place that I'm sorting out, but yeah, I have a whole other room dedicated to just toys. So I try to keep them separate, but I like to have these on display because I like looking at them for the time being. Maybe eventually when I get sick of them, I'll stack them up on pegs in the other room. But you know, I don't like to have toys in light too much, because it could yellow the packaging, and it just degrades the packaging over time. So I try to keep everything in my specific toy room. But yeah, for these, I just really wanted them on display for my own personal, you know, enjoyment. You know, every day I kind of take a glance at all the figures and just kind of look at the artwork and the sculptures of them, and just that's how I get enjoyment out of these figures. You know, like I said earlier, you know, I'm really into art, so yeah, we got the deluxes out over here, and so far I'm up to date with all the deluxes. I don't have all the figures yet. I have some on pre-order coming in still. Always have something on pre-order coming in that you gotta wait for. These are getting really hard to find in the stores. What happened is they really over-ordered a lot of Wave 5 and Wave 7 around Christmas over a year ago. And they kind of did the same thing this year, where they ordered a lot of snout spouts and leeches this Christmas. And now the stores are filled with these things and they can't get rid of them. So the distribution they have is they release, you know, 4 characters, and then when those sell out, the stores order more of whatever current wave is in. So you're not going to get random characters, you're going to get whatever wave comes in. So if your store isn't selling, then you're not going to get new characters in. And what's happening for a lot of people is all their stores, all their Walmarts are packed with Wave 5 and 7. And that's, there's an overabundance of, I know there's glare here, sorry about that. Overabundance of Fisto, Evil Lyn, which they're finally kind of dwindling down. For a while, there was a lot of merman lops. There was a lot of buzz-offs. People started buying those when they're on clearance, though, to kind of build up their army of buzz-offs. So really, right now, there's a shitload of jitsus everywhere. And there's a lot of sorceress still. So that's just what it is. And this entire wave right here, most people didn't see any of these in the stores. Most people had to get these online. Every once in a while, I'll see a Sunman in the store. Every once in a while, I'll see a Pighead, HeMan 200X, and Skeletor 200X. As for the rest of these, I've never once seen them in any stores. And sometimes I'll take trips where I'll go driving around just all day in a huge giant circle and hit like 9 Targets and 9 Walmarts and a few Meijers, and I will not see anything but wave 5 and 7. And I've done that a lot too. And they just are not selling, and it's really fucking the lineup. But we have these kind of like in order of when they were released. I don't have a stool in here to stand on, so I can't really get up. But these are the new for 20. So they first started off in 2020, and I had to kind of go back and get some of these, which was kind of hard. Luckily, I have like a vintage toy store, so when I first started collecting these, they had Man-at-Arms, they had Scareglow, and I think I got Evil Lyn from there too. I paid $25 for Scareglow, which actually is a pretty good price now. He's going for more now. But yeah, so we got Man-at-Arms, and we have HeMan and Skeletor. Now there's another release of HeMan and Skeletor. They don't say new for 20 in the corner. And if you notice on these cards here, if you look at the comic book, you could see the sword kind of sticking up there. Same thing on Skeletor, you can see the sword. There's an alternative version of HeMan and Skeletor. They're called Vintage Sculpt, and the heads are Vintage Sculpt. They're a bit different. So there's a Skeletor with his mouth closed instead of open, and that's the Vintage Sculpt. So it'll look closer to what the deluxe looks like. It'll look sort of like that, or maybe possibly like that. So that's sort of what the Vintage Sculpt looks like. And the Vintage Sculpt HeMan, his hairstyle is a little bit different. And then I think the comic books and maybe the sword is slightly altered too. The Vintage Sculpt are really hard to find. I've found them once on, it was either Walmart or Amazon, but the packages came completely destroyed. And I tried ordering 3 times from them, and every time the package was destroyed, so I sent it back. But if you're an opener, you might still be able to get them from there. The only other place I've seen was on eBay, people from Canada selling them. So we have the first version, Evil Lyn, here, and we could get into what I was talking about earlier. Is on the females, there's variation of the knees. So if you look at the knees, they're really round and weird on the females here, on Teela and Evil Lyn. But as you get farther into the line, you look at Eternian Goddess, her knees, the kneecaps, they made smaller and more sculpted. Sorceress, you could see it better with Sorceress. They're more sculpted and better, and I think that's just because the collectors and the fans and everything complained about how stupid they looked, that Mattel actually listened and changed them. So I believe for all female figures there is a variation where all female figures have the old sculpt and the new sculpt, going up to somewhere around, you know, up to sorceress. I've heard some people say that there's a couple sorceresses with the old sculpt, but I've never seen it myself. But from this point, like, forward, any female figure should have the new sculpt, I'm guessing. So, they re-released on, I think it was Big Bad Toy Store, they re-released this wave here, which is Roboto, Zodak, the original Merman, and She-Ra. These were really hard to come by until they were re-released. So that's actually really cool that they were re-released, because it gave me a chance to go back and get all 4 of these in really good condition. Now She-Ra, she actually has like 4 variations to her. So if you look at She-Ra, it's hard to tell, but like, so her kneecaps in this one is the newer version. They're sculpted. But there's also another version where her makeup on her face is slightly different. And I don't have a version to show, but I guess I don't know if this is the newer one or older one, but I guess people complained how bad it looked. So they kind of updated her makeup a little bit. So the 4 versions really there's 2 different ones with new and old kneecaps, and then 2 different ones with old and new makeup. So you have like new makeup with the new knees, new makeup with the old knees, old makeup with the new knees, old makeup with new knees. I think I explained that right. Let's see, going on here. Hordak, one of my favorites. I think I bought him. Yeah, I still got the sticker on him for $25. It was hard I couldn't find him anywhere, so I had to buy him from the vintage toy store. And then Faker, I have the international version, because that's all they had in the stores. And these Fakers sold like really fast in my area. Yeah, once he was gone, he was gone. They never got more in. I'm trying to do this with no glare, but it's hard because I have this light right here. So unfortunately, it's going to be a lot of reflection on these top figures. Plus, I'm trying to hold this heavy-ass 4K camera instead of a phone. So my arm is actually getting really tired. This is Evil Lyn 200X. So if anybody remembers, in around 2002, there's just no good angle I can get unless I hold this high. Around 2002, they came out with a HeMan toy line, and the sculptures were a bit like darker, very odd looking, but very cool at the same time. So if you see them with these stickers on here, this is the 200X version. So again, HeMan 200X, and he looks just like the 200X version. The same for Skeletor 200X. So when you see these stickers, that's the 200X remake. So they're not only just remaking the original line, they're throwing some variations in here of, you know, 200X, Lords of Power, which is Merman. You know, downstairs I showed you Beastman, Lop, or Lords of Power, but you kind of see Merman, his face on the original sculpt is a lot different than it is on the final Merman that actually came out. Eternian Goddess, she's really not that much different than Tila, you know. Webster, again, I'm sorry for the glare, it's just, I'm trying to look through a little screen on my camera and I don't know how this is coming out, but Webster was really hard to find. I luckily, the only time I ever seen Webster is when I bought this one. That's the only time. I've never seen any other ones. It's just the line that Webster came out with. They went right to eBay pretty much. Just a very hard figure to find. Buzz Off, very cool character, but a lot of people really got salty with the over manufacturing of Wave 5 and 7. Jitsu, same thing, cool character, but people are just sick of seeing him. Sorceress was one of my favorites because of her colors. Just the blue and the white, just they mashed together so good, look really cool. And then oh, this is another very hated one. So this is the second version of Stratos, and he's actually nicknamed Stripper Stratos because of the way he looks like a Chippendale dancer. People hate this figure because that's all that's in the stores right now is him in Jitsu. And it's really killed the line, the over manufacturing of Stratos. Now this is the second version. The original version is way earlier in the line, and I don't have him yet because he's a little bit more costly to get. So this is the light colored version of him where he's a lighter color, but the original is the dark color. And then from this point on, we're getting into where the figures that are really hard to find in stores. Some people found these in stores. I got lucky, and one store I went to had a box of this wave in it. And I got lucky, and I got that box, and I have never seen these figures ever again in the stores. So they had Annie Eternia HeMan, which is supposed to be like a bad HeMan, which is he's totally blacked out, which is really cool. Really cool concept there. Clawful, one of the cool originals, you know, with the crab figure arm. Horde Trooper, another favorite of people. I believe he was easier to get online. But yeah, just trying to find him in stores was horrible. California seems to have a much easier time. I'm in Ohio, so it seems like Ohio, Pennsylvania, Detroit, we all have a hard time getting a lot of these figures. I think what happens is the distribution starts in California and starts there and then works its way to the East Coast. That's what it seems like it is, but I'm not sure. That's just my guess, because every time people get figures that I never see in the store, it's always California people. So they seem to get figures first and more. But California is a big state. They have a lot of cities, and they have a lot more money than most people. Sunman, very awkward shaped. He's kind of hard to fit in some of these Protect cases. These cases here, where the plastic goes all the way up to the top, these are Protect cases. I've recently switched to Noslin cases, and these are the Noslin. The plastic only goes up to here, where the name is about, where on the Protect they go up to here. The reason why I switched is because Noslin, their cases are better. When you get them, they're just packaged better. When you get Protect, most of them are warped inside the box, and you got to bend them. I have to put tape on these so they don't come apart. It's just really annoying. Pighead reminds me of Bebop from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I think that's the only reason why I like them. The Sunman, Rulers of the Sun, they're kind of lame and corny. They're all very basic, and I don't know, they're very cheesy. Pighead's kind of the only cool one, really. And then these already kind of talked about is, you know, HeMan 200X, Skeletor 200X. This is one of my favorites. Mantenna, part of the Evil Horde. They did a really good job on remaking this. I always say this guy's name wrong. Digitino, I think his name is. And this is another part of the Sunman currently they're having more of the Sunman figures come out. I think this is just a really cheesy figure. He's got lipstick on. I guess he's supposed to be like, I guess Sunman is supposed to be like the multicultural version of HeMan for all races. So that's woke HeMan, basically. So the backstory of Sunman, if you don't know it, you could go on Mattel Creations page, and they have a whole story about it. Some little black kid in like the 80s, I guess, drew his own HeMan figure, which was Sunman. And I don't think it was ever released back then that I can remember. It might have been, but I don't think so. So they kind of made it happen this time around, which is pretty cool. I like Sunman's an odd figure just because I don't really like his cape, but still for like display reasons, it's still like a cool figure. Now, like, if this figure was like $80, it would definitely be my last one I bought because it's not that cool. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, these, for a while, these had the 40th 40-year stickers on them. So no matter if you had international or American, they had the 40 sticker on them there instead of the new for 20. And I believe it's the same for the snake packaging for the Snake Men. I don't think that they say new for in the corner. So we have King Randor here, which looks like the Burger King mascot, really. Let me try to bend down here. Like, my back is fucked up, so it's kind of hard to move around. So let's see if I can do this. Get a little bit of glare here again. That's the problem. So yeah, King Randor, you're not going to be able to find him in stores, but they have another version of him coming out now. He's coming out on the current wave that's coming out is another King Randor, which is a little bit different than this. And you'll probably never be able to find him, to be honest. This is Trapjaw version 2. I don't have the original one. The only thing different is, they made him an alternative color, really. And I believe something with the swivel might be a little bit different. I don't remember. Whiplash is another favorite of all the people. One of the original characters. And then we get into Sunman again. So this is what I was saying earlier, where like Sunman inside the snake packaging, it doesn't really like make too much sense, because when you look at the other Sunman figures, it just doesn't match the packaging. So I know they're trying to space out the characters and put them out at different times and stuff, but Boltman just, anything looks good in the snake packaging, but it doesn't make very much sense. But like if you look at him close up, his face is really just the same as his. They both got the makeup on, the lipstick. He looks like a 1980s aerobics instructor. Just kind of like an odd character, but kind of cool at the same time. Cobra Con and Rattler. That's like an awesome combination. This was actually like a really good wave that came out. Was Snake Armor, HeMan, Rattler, Cobra Con, and Boltman. And I ended up getting the multi-language because that's the only one I could find at the time, because they sold out, the pre-orders sold out so quick, and I knew I wasn't going to find them in stores. But, that's fine to me. I don't mind having internationals. And then lastly, we have the deluxes here. And then we have the King Hiss downstairs. So there's 12 of them out now. And I believe that's all that's out. That's all that's made so far. So the first one was Buzzsaw Hordak. And there's 3 variations I know of Hordak. And his eyes are different. So if you look at his eyes here, I don't know how good you could see that, but if you look at that compared to his eyes here, his eyes are very much more smaller. So in the deluxes, there's actually 3 different versions where his eyes are different. So some of them are smaller eyes, some are bigger, and some are painted a little bit different. And then we have Ram Man. He was hard to find. Both of these were hard to find for me. I had to go back and get them. Mosquito, he was around for a while. Wasn't too hard to find. Clam Champ wasn't too hard to find. Again, I'm sorry there's a lot of glare here. Probably just ruining the entire video. There's a limited edition Clam Champ where he has light skin, and I believe they were just sold in very, very small quantities in Canada, I think. So somebody actually showed me theirs, so they do exist. But yeah, the Clam Champ with the light skin is very, very rare. And then we have Battle Armor HeMan, and like you could tell, like I was saying before, the Battle Armor HeMan that came with Battle Cat, his armor was very shiny. In the deluxe, it's very dull looking. Still cool figures though. Battle Armor Skeletor. And then we have Terrorclaw Skeletor and Flying Fist HeMan. Like I said, these kind of came out in pairs too, so like these were the first 2 out, and then Mosquito came out when Clam Champ came out, and then both Battle Armors came out, and then Terrorclaw came out while Flying Fist came out. These were kind of harder to find at most stores. I ended up finding these 2 at Myers, and currently you can kind of still find these at Myers. At the current time that I'm recording this video, you might still be able to find these at Myers. And if not Myers, you can find Flying Fist HeMan at Big Lots, I think, if I'm remembering that correctly. These 2 they were really hard for me to find. I ended up having to get them off of eBay, I think. For some reason, they just came and went. Right now, Walmart has tons of Snout Spouts and Leech. The thing with Leech is he doesn't fit in the protective case too good, so I had to cut the top so the card pokes out. But 2 really cool figures. Leech is one of my favorite figures from the original line, but they just have so many of them right now in the stores that it's just killing the line. And this is one of the newer ones besides King Hiss currently. I'm losing my voice, but Thunder Punch HeMan. And I haven't seen him in stores either, so I had to get him online. I've seen a couple King Hiss in stores, but again, just mainly in Target. Target seems to have King Hiss and Thunder Punch HeMan more, and Walmart seems to have Leech and Snout Spout more. So yeah, it's been a mix-up of where you can get the figures. So there's 4 stores that are carrying these. The 2 main ones are Walmart and Target, and then you have Meijer, which some of the Meijers don't. Some of the newer Meijers that are being built aren't carrying the line at all. And then you have Big Lots, which is kind of like a Ollie's. So Big Lots and Ollie's kind of gets like an overstock, and they'll get some things in time to time. They'll get some of the old figures in time to time, and they'll get a shitload of them. So that's my update for my HeMan Origins figures. Don't know if any of this is interesting to anybody, but yeah, I just had time to kill today. I was supposed to go to my dentist, but my appointment's actually tomorrow, so that's why it's like If you hear my voice kind of jumbling a little bit, it's because my tooth hurts really bad right now. I probably shouldn't have even made this video. So yeah, I hope somebody enjoyed this video. Maybe some new collectors that are just starting with the line. You know, maybe people that don't, maybe people who have a couple of the figures but not all the figures and just wanted to check out some of the stuff. Like I said, I have like 75% of the line, I think. I'm not missing very many characters. It's only a couple waves, and then I got a couple waves coming in the mail too in pre-order. So yeah, that's about it for this video. So hope you enjoyed.